Teachers can have a lifelong impact on their students. My mama was a teacher. I saw this firsthand. They're amazing. They're angels, y'all. Well, I want you all to meet Amir and Kevin. 17 years ago, Amir sat in Kevin's classroom. Back then, he called him Mr. Haney. They formed a friendship that continues to this day. 2 months ago, that friendship proved life-saving. That's because Amir and his family were trapped in Afghanistan. Unbelievably, from halfway around the world, Kevin worked to get his former student out of the country. In a word, Amir is thankful. Please welcome everybody, Amir and his former teacher, Kevin. Give it up for him, y'all. And meet everybody, guys.
Oh, nice. Amazing, amazing.
So Kevin, before we get to your story, how long have you been a teacher? And thank you, by the way.
Oh, thank you. So I've been a teacher now for 23 years.
Wow.
21 of those years at Strathaven High School. And I'm lucky enough to work for a school district that encourages, obviously, the rigor in the curriculum and academics, but also the social, emotional piece as well, and making sure we take care of the mental health of our students. This guy, he had me twice. I teach English and public speaking. He took both of my courses. And I became an ordained minister because of teaching. Kids have asked me to do their weddings. So
wow.
I've done 11.
That's quite an impact of a teacher.
11 weddings, yeah.
That's amazing.
So it's just, I'm lucky, I'm blessed. It's just an incredible place, and it's been an incredible journey.
Oh my God, well, we are blessed to have teachers like you. that's not lip service, man. I truly believe teachers change the world.
Thank you so much. It means the world. Thank you.
Yeah, and my mom was one hell of a one too. Shout out, Mama. So what kind of teacher was Mr. Haney, Amir?
Mr. Haney, he exemplified all the things you would ever want to see in a teacher. He's since become part of the community. He lives up the street from my parents. He's somebody that taught us how to be good people. For me, how to be a good man. One particular conversation was an early conversation I had with Mr. Haney. Happened in 9th grade as well. I think it was first week of school. This was in 2002. So Islamophobia was very, very relevant and very apparent everywhere in my life at that time. And for my first class of the day was English. And Mr. Haney took me aside after class and he said, if anybody makes you feel uncomfortable, if anybody makes you feel like you're not welcome here, you let me know and I'll take care of it. And, being new to the area, being new to the school, for somebody, 9 feet tall and 1 million pounds to come out. All muscles, all up here, all up here. As a young guy, it made me feel welcome and it made me feel comfortable so that when I did hear things.
And safe.
Yeah, I felt safe enough that I could even join in the banter and have a back and forth because I knew that behind me was, that. And I didn't have to worry, and I felt like it was a safe place, which is huge at that time in my life, any student at that time in their life.
Which is what every learning environment should feel and look like. Do you remember that moment?
I do. I remember it well because there was an experience that I had the night before I shared that moment with Amir, or shared the experience with Amir. I was going to one of my favorite establishments, and it was run by a wonderful man, salt of the earth guy. He was Pakistani. And I went there often. Great guy. He always called me Big Guy. That was always the name.
I sense a theme.
And I went to his establishment one day, and it was destroyed. And my heart broke for him. He's such a good man. And I'll never forget this. He starts hugging me, Big Guy again, Big Guy. And he said, what did sorry. He said, what did I do? He kept saying, what did I do? What did I do? I was hugging him. You didn't do anything. Let's try to make this right. So I stayed there, and I helped him clean up as best I could. I stayed for a few hours with him, which he was grateful. We shared a few drinks, and I came into school the next day, and I saw Amir. So I pull him aside. I'm throwing the football in the hallways as kids are coming into my class, which I normally do. And I pull Amir aside, and I say, hey, buddy, whatever you need from me, love, welcoming, support, anybody says anything to you, bothers you, I got you. To be able to support Amir that way is special. It's a part of the job. It's what we do.
Yes, and I'm good. Okay. Were any of you guys lucky enough to have teachers like this that really, stuck up for you, or invested in you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Hands down?
Mr. Campbell, my journalism teacher in junior high school, was just, he's a wonderful man.
I had a team, Mr. Marshall and Mr. Stone, and they taught a very large history class, but I had them 2 or 3 times in high school. I kept trying to get in their class.
Yeah.
Just, amazing, intelligent, thoughtful, good advice off to the side at times when you needed it. A couple of little kick in the pants ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very valuable.
We need those teachers
but
too.
Great
Yeah.
storytellers. Great, and I love history. And I look at all the movies that I've made about history, and it really kind of goes back to that class and their ability to convey the
And probably
humanity
change
of
the
it.
trajectory of your life with moments like that. That's what I think about when I'm a kid too. A couple months ago, Amir and his family were trapped in Afghanistan with no way out. So Amir, how did you end up in Afghanistan?
So my mom is American, but my father is Afghan. And my mom was actually working in the Peace Corps back in the 70s and married my dad in Afghanistan. And that's where we come from. But over the years, growing up, I was born here, but I did get to travel in high school. So made some trips to see family there, and it really, it had something that kind of captured me and seemed very...
Okay, GQ, let's just talk about that though. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, my man.
I know, that's a nice photo, I'm just saying.
Thank you. That's actually Helmand, Afghanistan. But I joined the military after I got out of high school and parlayed that into contracting.
Thank you for that. Thank you for your service.
And after the military, went to Afghanistan, worked with the Department of Defense, Department of State, and different contracts. And I made my life there. I married an Afghan woman, had a child.
Yeah, making babies. Woo! Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Oh my God, I want to snuggle with those cheeks. Okay.
Yeah.
So cute.
Oh no, I know. And she's a sweetheart. And I had my house, we had the car, we had the dog, we had the
Your
kid,
life.
we had the life. And at the last few months, things started to go a different way. We had a call that came in. I was told by somebody that you need to burn everything that you have, your pictures, documents, anything that connects you to the U.S. government or the U.S. Being a U.S. citizen, destroy it and get to the airport.
How terrifying was that phone call?
It was a surreal experience.
I know
the
that
whole
you're
thing.
like trained to like maybe try and handle that, but I know your wife probably wasn't, right? Like that had to be terrifying.
So the hardest thing, and people have asked me, weren't you scared and this and that? And you're incredibly scared, but you don't really have time to be scared. There wasn't time to process anything. It was convincing my wife that we have to leave, convincing, she has to leave her parents, she has to leave her brother, she has to leave the country that she knows. My daughter has to leave her grandparents. We just have to go. We don't have time to grab anything other than the things that we have to burn and destroy. It was a terrible, terrible time. We went to the airport. People were, trying to get in. City was, falling apart. We were there for hours. We got back home, and I was just exhausted. All 3 of us were exhausted physically, emotionally. I just had no clue what to do. I felt like we were left behind. It was a very terrifying experience.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so Kevin, we were all watching this on the news, and were you worried about Amir? Because you saw him, right? Where he was. You knew where he lived.
I knew where he was. We stayed in touch on social media, and looking at pictures throughout the years, and we exchanged pleasantries and happy birthdays and all the stuff that people do on social media, and then you see the fallout, and then I was terrified. I remember, I know it sounds cliche, but I was lying in bed and I'm looking up at the ceiling and talking to my wife, and I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep. Kept just thinking of Amir, his wife, his kid. I reached out to Amir on social media and I sent him a message. I mean, what can some English teacher halfway across the world actually do? I sent him a message and things kind of happened from there.
So what did you end up doing? You knew someone, right?
Yeah, so I sent a message on social media and, to pray for my guy who was a former student, who becomes a lifelong friend, and just did what my mother would ask me to do, pray. Can everyone pray for him? You posted some pictures, all the love was coming in, all the support, and a friend that I grew up with in Philadelphia reached out to me and said, I can get him out. I'm in Kabul, I'm at the embassy. He goes, I have a really, really short window to work with. So give him this number, have him contact me, and tell him to do it immediately. So I get this message from my friend. I send it immediately to Amir. Amir says, it's 2 a.m. here. Is he going to pick up? Like, contact him now, like right now. So I put the two of them in touch, and I kept kind of playing middleman between them. So I'm contacting my friend, contacting Amir. What's happening? Somebody talk to me. What's going on? So I'm getting messages from one side, getting messages from Amir, and a lot took place from that post and that response.
And then you must get this call. I can only imagine, and you're like afraid to maybe hope. Like you're like, you want to take the call, you want someone to help, but you're like, I mean, when you got there, were you sure you were going to get in, you know?
Yeah, so the first call I also got, and we weren't able to get in. And that was a really stressful period of time for my wife and for me, for my daughter. And so to just go and redo that without having somebody, have that conversation that the person Mr. Haney connected me with was able to have with me, I wasn't ready to go back to the airport. But, he was able to direct and kind of help coordinate the whole movement, which was incredibly important. And I can't stress, the value it had in getting us out.
Yeah, I mean, I can only imagine. Well, Kevin, as incredible as all of this is, can you share what happened next?
Yeah, I mean, you would talk about the kind of interconnectivity of the world and how small of a place this actually can be at times. So Amir shows up at my house, and we're posting pictures. There's the tears, there's the hugs, all that stuff. And so I post pictures, like, the prayers worked, it all worked. Thank you so much. And again, outpouring of love, outpouring of support. So I get a message after I post the picture from another Strathaven student who graduated in 2014.
Prepare yourself.
And he says, another one, I'm lucky enough to stay close to these students after they leave. And he said, Mr. Haney he's an Air Force pilot. He said, Mr. Haney, you won't believe this. He said, I flew him out. He, his wife, and his kid. I flew them out. Wow. So, yeah, it's crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah. So, to have...
You're like Kevin Bacon of separation, of degrees of separation. Like, this is insane.
It's just wild to have these two kids halfway across the world, both former students of mine that took all of my courses. Yeah. One helping the other. It's just amazing.
And a high school friend.
And maybe one of the worst scenarios in their life. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is such an intense scenario. Not many people have to go through that, live through that. So Kevin's former student is Lieutenant Andrew De Silva of the U.S. Air Force. He was one of the many dedicated pilots helping evacuate people from Kabul. Kevin and Amir don't know this, but he's here today, y'all.
No.
Lieutenant Andrew De Silva, come on out!
I appreciate you.
Dude, get back over here. Come here.
I love it. I can't hug you like him, but I can do that.
I appreciate it.
You want to make room for him on the couch, Amir?
Come on in, bro.
Okay. This is the craziest story that we've ever had on the show. It's just insane. I mean, in that moment, whenever you saw him, were you like, was that Amir? Like, in your head?
Oh, absolutely. So I saw Kevin's Facebook post.
Yeah.
And it was a photo of Amir and his daughter. It was at nighttime, and it was at Hamid Karzai International Airport. And I was like, man, I recognize that face. Like there's some things that just stick in your mind. And for this particular operation, it was the children and the families of the children, And we dealt with hundreds upon hundreds of people, but the families and the children really stuck in my mind. And I was like, I recognize him. And unfortunately, there was no manifest to that I could go back and verify. But I mean, I recognize him 100%. I recognize him.
It's the craziest thing ever, and that you both were even in that situation. Your former students. It's the craziest thing. Do you need? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Hold on. Hold on. I was like, oh my God, I just stepped on you, Amir. I'm so sorry. I just looked up and I was like, help you. I want to help you. So I mean, okay, Ron. You know a Hollywood story better than anyone, okay? How's this one panning out? I'm just like, it's crazy. It's real life.
Yeah. Well, that is what is amazing, is that these remarkable events, they occur. And if you did try to tell that story in fiction, everybody would say, well, that's ridiculous. that's hokey could never happen.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's amazing that we have to recognize we live in a world where extraordinary things really do happen.
Yeah.
And here's one of them, you know,
Yes.
and it's really inspiring.
I mean, it is extraordinary. And thank you so much for your service. Thank you for doing what you did. All those people, just like Amir, were trying to get out. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your support. I appreciate it.